The listener will no longer be denied. Bigger, better sound. SVG 1069 FM.
Alright guys, so Mr. Cummings, we have a format, our standard format in this program, very confusion program, and I don't know sometimes why I come in here because it stresses the daylight out of me. Our format will be that we will ask you an opening question, you have 2 minutes or less to answer that question, and after that we get into it. Alright? Quite in order. Don't get worried about the camera lights in your face. That's how they do it around here.
I just use the camera lights in his face.
All right. That's how they do it around here. So let's go.
Right.
Stephen, it's up.
We're ready.
You're ready. Up.
Daniel, my friend. Daniel, you have been at this thing quite a while now in politics after a successful business career. 10 years at it. Gee, that's way too long, you don't think? No, but that's a serious question. Daniel, in about 2 weeks' time, almost exactly 2 weeks from today,
yes.
We're all going to the polls, and we have a very serious decision to make about who runs our country for the next 5 years. Who and why should we vote? Why should we vote for the NDP over the ULP? Tell us why. Give us a convincing reason.
Well, Stephen, I've often said over the last 2 years or so, any person who has been living in St. Grenadians and cannot come up with a reason to get rid of the incumbent government needs to have his or her head examined. In fact, what we have been doing over the last several years and months is indicating to people exactly what we are going to do, completely contrary to what this government has been doing, and changing the direction of this country economically, socially, spiritually, morally. In every respect, we are on the wrong path. And we are a team of people who are committed to this country. We love this country. Most of us could find work anywhere around the world, but we have chosen to remain here because we believe in this rock. We believe we can do a whole lot better, and that's our ambition.
How's the campaign going, Daniel? We've heard lots of people out there saying that the NDP have not been aggressive enough in putting forward their agenda. Is that true in your view?
I totally disagree. I believe our country, our people are maturing. The NDP has started from the beginning to the current, and we are sticking on the issues. We are putting forward a program for the development of this country by and through the people of this country. Our basic philosophy has been and continues to be, we want to see a kinder and gentler society. We do not think it is sensible for us to destroy the country in an attempt to try to make it grow and develop. We have chosen a path that is completely different from where this government has led us over the past 15 years. And that's not accidental.
Why are you all facing Sion Hill? Your party particularly, in addition to the ULP. I mean, the NDP up there, I mean, that's serious. I mean, Camilla was in here yesterday and Linton, and we have seen that they are not doing it in East St. George. Why is the NDP, and for that matter the ULP, doing what they're doing at Sion Hill?
I think everyone needs to understand how politics is evolving in this country. Throughout the Caribbean, people approach politics in different ways. I am amazed that in Trinidad, you can have two main parties, rival, passing side by side, exchanging pleasantries without the slightest threat of violence or any kind. St. Vincent and the Grenadines has been like that, but over the last periods it has changed somewhat. There's far too much confrontation of a negative kind. I don't think there are many countries in the Caribbean where we do as much writing on the road as St. Vincent and Grenadines does. In this election, I think it's gone well beyond what we've seen before. But you can say it is a Vinci thing. The good thing about that is that paint is not a permanent mark. Yes, it's ugly. I'd rather see the painting on the wall and on the road than people fighting.
But it takes, but that takes 3 or 4 years to come off the road,
no,
Daniel.
Far less.
Then it's on the wall. I can take you by the roundabout now and show painting from 2010.
It depends.
Still faded there.
It depends.
Still there.
It depends. But
why not just make it illegal and stop this stupidness? Because it's ugly.
Well,
we had tourists yesterday on a cruise ship on Friday. Sorry,
Friday,
right, Bing? Bing was driving by. Tourists up there taking pictures of this graffiti, and I guarantee it's not to say because it's attractive.
They probably found it interesting, but. The way politics is conducted, again, I don't know if you know, but certainly I can tell you in my own constituent, there's a fair amount, not as much, there's a fair amount of painting going on. I don't know anything about it. I have no control over it at all. People of their own volition feel it necessary to.
So you're not
express
paying for this?
themselves.
You're not spending money on paint for
I
these
don't
people
have
to do
money.
this?
And whatever I have,
Yes.
I rather use it on the people than on the world. I do not have that approach. All my meetings, for example, are held with the most low-tech.
Right.
A simple set that Patrice has in his office, we set it up and we have a meeting. We don't hire any big PA system because I want to talk to the people in the communities about their issues. And whatever funds I have, I rather spend it on the people than on paraphernalia.
Hold on. Mr. Cummings, you didn't answer the question. Because the question from Stephen is, why are you guys painting the place? But you didn't answer.
I think you have a hearing problem.
Maybe. But why are you guys painting?
I specifically
why are you painting?
said a lot of the painting is taking place outside of our knowledge and control as politicians, and I spoke for myself.
But Mr. Cummings, I don't believe that. Who's buying the paints for these people?
But, you know, you have the right to believe what you want, as any person in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And if you want to know what belief is, you will wait until December 9th and you see what the
But that's not the issue right now, Mr. Cummings. These people said that they're being paid $60 and $40 a day to do what they're doing. The same people who are in the streets, the same people who are painting, the same people who have horns blowing in people's vehicle. They said that they are being paid by the NDP. Are you saying that there's no truth to that?
I am saying categorically I know of no such thing.
Okay.
Listen, they are being paid. Did you ask them to pay them?
But that's what I'm asking you, Mr. Cummings.
But I have told you that we are not doing it.
What is your position in the party, Mr. Cummings? Are you one of the vice?
I am a member of parliament.
So in the New Democratic Party, you're an executive member. Correct?
No.
You're not an executive member.
Not at all.
So you're not part of the decision making.
I am a part of the decision making.
So you do not know of no decision to have to pay these people who are on the road, on the street, who are painting the party NDP on the walls, on the street.
Why is it so difficult for you to believe that?
Because somebody must be paying these people because they said that they're being paid.
But I can't tell you.
No one is arguing with that. But I am saying to you that we are not paying them. What is so difficult about that?
So who's buying the paint? You do not know as well.
Does he have a normal understanding? Or
it's not normal.
So the NDP,
it's not normal.
The NDP does not know anything. The NDP categorically have not bought any paints at all since this campaign has started.
I have told you categorically that there are lots of painting going on that we have no control over. Yeah? Why is that so difficult?
But should I interpret that you have control over some of the painting that's going on?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so those that you have control of, where are these being done?
NDP candidates, certainly for myself and many other constituencies, when we want to put out a message, we have different methods. We have posters, we have some painting. We have a stencil that takes a simple message, uniformly written and so forth. But if you look and see, most of the writing is ad-lib.
Yes, correct.
People of their own volition are going and painting. That's just reality.
Okay, I would like you guys to discourage it. Daniel, let's turn to some issues here now.
But it is a serious matter, okay? Let's don't
No.
downplay.
What I want to do when you all get in, if you all get into power, or whoever returns to power,
into office
in Barbados they don't do
in the office of governance.
Well, you could be nice and call it office, but it's
power will always be with the people.
No, I disagree with you, Daniel. When you elect somebody in this country, you're electing a king for 5 years, in my view, because basically a prime minister has so much power, and you notice, Daniel, a prime minister is a very powerful person.
My brother.
Yes.
The power and the manner in which it's executed depends on the individual. There are some people who should not be in that position because they have no controls over certain things. If you are a people-centered person, if you want to see this country going forward, and you as a prime minister have certain options, it is a simple thing as delegation. Because no one man, not Arnhem Eustace, not myself, not anybody, has the wherewithal to do all of these things that the current prime minister has been attempting to do over the past almost 15 years. And that is one of the principal reasons why we are in this the debacle because he thinks he is the one and only, and that is a myth.
But
he has made a mess of just about everything he's put his hand on.
But is that not a norm? Since you talk about our history and what we do, is that not part of what we do in this?
Far from it.
James Mitchell was
Far
accused of
from
the
it.
same thing, was
Far,
he?
but far from it. That is the irony. You
Was he
had
the same
Sir
or not?
James Mitchell come into power.
Yes.
He is the only one at the time with any political acumen and experience, and even ministerial experience.
Right.
But he allowed a team of persons to be competent, to grow, and to exercise their authority. Yes, he spoke for them on a number of occasions, especially in the beginning, but that was out of necessity. If you look at the development and growth of the ministers under Sir James, you'll understand why that was allowed to be. I can certainly speak of Sir James's role in the Ministry of Health, having served in the Water and Sewage Authority. I keep reminding people, Sir James as Prime Minister called me as manager of the Water Authority on one single instance in 15 years as manager under him. One.
But how do you know?
In contrary, not a single week passed by without Ralph Gonzalez calling me for an hour and a half on at least 2 occasions to talk about everything under the sun, most especially stupid partisan politics.
Okay, seeing that
So
you
there,
mentioned,
and wanting to control the most minute details of the operation of an institution as far removed from him as it can be.
seeing that we're on the subject of Sir James, all right, what do you feel about the Privy Council victory for Sir James?
I feel very elated, but I feel very depressed that the man has to spend so much money to get his basic judgment, and it speaks pivotally to the failure of our judicial process in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's one of the reasons why we cannot, in the present format, support abandoning the Privy Council. If you look at the processes involved, you have to spend money to appeal to this level and that level. And when you get ultimately to the only salvation, they make such an... the statements coming out of the Privy Council paint such an ugly picture of what passes for justice in this part of the
that
world.
being said, Sir James have not been paid the cost which was awarded to him by Privy Council, the money that was spent to get that from the government. Will an NDP government immediately pay Sir James the monies that the Privy Council asked that he be paid back?
I have made it abundantly clear before, and I'll do it again. An NDP government will be about justice. It's not just for Sir James. There are many persons who are not getting justice on the Ralph Gonzalez out of pure partisan political spite. An NDP government will address all issues of justice. Once it is within the right, it is required, it must be done. You have bigger bigs, you have Marcus the Freitas, you have Sir James, and you have many small persons. You have people whose lands have been taken away and they've been given pittance. You know how many persons who had lands at Argyle are not paid for their lands up to today?
Lands and homes.
And that's criminal behavior in office.
I heard once that...
I know people who died in the process of trying to get their money from the hands of this government.
Mr. Cummings,
they have blood on their
I
hands.
heard once that the government, an NDP government, your leader, the Honourable Honourable, said that he will pay, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bigger Bigs $11 million worth of damages. Is that correct?
So you just could never have said that. You must be here in a different world.
Oh. So no figures would mention in terms of
No,
payment.
there's never been any such judgment requiring the government to pay.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Absolutely clear on that.
So, but you just said that Bigger Bigs will be paid. So how much money are you going to pay Bigger Bigs?
I said he will get justice, my brother. You got to listen a little more
What does
carefully.
justice mean?
Justice is what is real, what is fair, what the courts decide.
What are you going to use to calculate that justice?
What the courts decide.
As the court is involved in this matter? Was the court, Stephen, do you know?
There is a court matter.
There is a court.
There's a court matter.
And the court have awarded
I don't have all
justice
the details.
according to Mr.
It has
Cummings.
not been decided. It's before the court. That's why I don't.
So the
go
matter
into
will
detail.
go back to court to the court to award justice to Bigger
You
Bigs?
cannot listen.
I don't know. I'm asking
An
Mr.
NDP
Cummings.
government cannot pretend to be the Lord and Master and Savior of the world.
So you've never
There
heard
is
the
a
$11 million
process.
figure? You've never heard that
Never.
figure? Stephen,
You're
I've never
hearing a
heard that.
different.
Never
You're
heard that.
hearing a different.
I heard that.
I have never heard that.
I heard
Maybe
$11
you
million.
listen to the wrong people. No, but Mr. Eustace could not have made that statement. I guarantee you that.
Okay.
Because there's no such figure.
Okay. Should we tie down the microphone, Mr. Cummings, because you don't want to throw anything? I know you get a little heated.
Listen,
Nothing's wrong with that.
Let me tell you.
Wrong with that.
Let me tell you. Wait.
Paul Pratt, what are you going on about?
I'm being
he's throwing all his anger at me. I want to make sure.
No, not
Mr.
anger.
Cummings, you
And let me
will
just tell
stone. Will you
no,
stone?
let me just tell you.
Will you stone?
Let me
I
just
love the
tell you.
passion, buddy. I love the passion.
But let me just tell you that you can't pelt stone better than
Why are we clapping? Why are we clapping? Here's a man who stoned the church. Why are we clapping? Why are we clapping?
And moreover, being,
Yes.
I don't live in glass house. But I have a license to do that.
Daniel,
Wait, no, wait.
No, I know when you're going.
I know
Where am I going?
I
Where
know
am I
you're
going?
choking
Where
to
am I
talk
going?
about
Where am I
Stone.
going?
And you know, I call him
want to know.
Mr. Stone all the time.
Mr. Cummings, Mr. Cummings, Mr. Stone Church.
Yes, man.
Will you, if the opportunity arises, will you stone the church again?
Oh, jeez.
I do not believe that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines we will come to that again. I think that instance.
So are you apologetic about stoning the church?
Would you ever apologize?
I have done that repeatedly.
No, I don't know. Well,
Yes,
remember,
yes,
I'm
yes.
listening to the wrong people. So I want to hear.
And
Are you
and
apologetic?
sometimes you're not listening at all.
Right. So are you apologetic about stoning the church?
I have been, and I am
Daniel.
up to today. But let me go further.
Why is Stephen cutting this
But
off?
let me go further
Yes.
and tell you, Bing.
Yes.
Were it not for my intervention, that congregation would not be housed in the present building that they are now, proper building,
Okay.
which is what I've always been asking for. They had grave difficulty in getting the owner of the land to sell them it, who was
Right.
a relative of mine.
Right.
They had great difficulty in getting planning approval for the use of that site. And in both cases, I had to use my influence to help them to get that.
Okay.
I was never against the church. I was against
The noise.
breaking the law.
Right.
So-
And thinking, you know what the pastor said to me? God put him there.
But
You
isn't that
see,
true?
people can be
Isn't that true? Why are we laughing?
fanatical.
Isn't that true?
No, people can be fanatical being. But the point that you and many seem to be missing is that all of us have rights, including the pastor, including the church.
But-
so do I.
but-
I have the rights. I have the right.
You do.
I have the right
Thank you, sir.
to be
But
in
you
my.
don't-
Wait.
But you don't have the right to stone.
I have the right to be in the. Yes, if it
Yes.
becomes necessary.
But should the pastor come back and stone you back? If that would have been
I
his
would
right as well?
never. I would never do to the pastor what they did to me.
Thank you, sir.
I will never create an opportunity for anybody to do that to me.
So-
I am a law-abiding person, my
Okay.
brother.
So, since we brought that up, so
Yes, Stephen.
I
We
know
know
he
what
was
you
choking.
want to
I
ask.
know he was
We
choking
know what
to get
Stephen
to
See,
wants
I'm
to
glad he
ask.
brought it
We
up.
know
I
what
am
he
glad
wants
he
to
brought it
ask.
up because all over this country, we have problems with the law not being enforced.
Yeah,
in
he's
my view.
passionate
And I'm
about
on
that.
to this.
He's passionate about
As
that.
I keep saying. And I want to cuss my good friend Jules too, even though I love Jules, right? And I understand he wanted to avoid
Jules?
politicizing
Ferdinand.
the issue.
Jules Ferdinand.
Jules Ferdinand.
Yes.
Even though I know he wanted to avoid politicizing the issue and what's going on in Annisvale, Daniel, right? We are not enforcing the Noise Act. We're not enforcing any health concerns over there. Marcus de Freitas was told not to smell cement, and in my way, correct in my view. He should have been paid, right? But correct. But the same thing is now happening in Annisvale, where... So how would the two wrongs make a right here? Will the NDP enforce the noise laws in this country so neighbors could sleep peacefully at night and not have to resort to stoning churches?
Stephen, it's not just the noises. When it comes to physical planning in this country, I'm not singling out the ULP. My experience tells me that succeeding governments have failed to
Yes.
act and allow the planning authority to act independently. There has been too much personalization of the decision making. We have failed to understand the pains all of us pay when we do not follow planning regulation. There are, for example, too many structures, buildings that have encroached on what is the reserve.
Could you speak into the microphone?
That limits our ability to have proper park driveways. If you look on the highways, the roadway coming here, highways, what it's a misnomer. But if you look at the main roads coming this way and going into town, you have bus stops along the main carriage. You have bus stops along the main carriage, which is absurd in the extreme, because imagine a van, you're in line of traffic. Somebody wants to stop. The van has to stop right in, so the whole line of traffic is held up to let on and let off passengers. Why? Because persons adjacent to the road have built their fence not only on the verge, but they're built literally on the roads in some instances. I've had the experience as manager of the Water Authority to find one of our manhole covers completely enclosed in somebody's fence The pipeline is along the road with a manhole covered for just a van. But you have to ask permission from the person to get in the fence to operate. People have become too lawless. And NDP administration must insist that the planning laws are upheld.
And the
you
health
must
laws.
appoint, first of all, competent people on the physical planning board and give them the autonomy. Set the rules, set the regulations, and insist that they enforce the regulations, whether it's a supporter or not. You know, the cost
Do you think
to
that
us.
really happened, Daniel?
Yes.
Will you not just put on your cronies on the board?
You cannot know, Stephen, the appointment of board members under NB administration would be one of the most crucial things we have to do. People of proven competence, people of proven independence, people who are going to act in the best interest of the country. Those are the ones
And
who
who
have to be
qualified
selected.
as well to in the
Of
specific
course.
areas.
You're
That's not happening now.
listening.
That's
You're
not happening now.
listening to me now. I said
No, I'm
you're
agreeing with you.
incompetent.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. That's
Daniel,
not happening now.
on the-
Okay, wait, hold on. We're going to take a
Bing, I'm
station
just
like
pulling your hair.
I hope when I do that to you, you can handle it. I hope when I do that to you, you can handle it, okay? Okay, we're going to take a station ID at the top and we're going to come right back. It's 8 o'clock in SVG. Let's go do this and come right back.
The listener will no longer be denied. Bigger, better sound. Boom. SVG 106.9 FM.